All right. Hey, guys and gals. Welcome to another episode of Mafia Memoirs. My name's Jody, and
I'm Rod.
And we are the Zenware Road FS team, and we are super, super excited because we get to visit Hawaii today virtually.
Nice.
So we have Kelly Mankin from Ake Ake Detailing, and I think you said that means crazy.
It does. I actually was coming up with a name, and we'd had a few drinks with my friends, and they were Hawaiian, and so they're looking up, oh, you need a Hawaiian name. So they were looking up Hawaiian names in the Hawaiian dictionary, and they came up with Ake Ake, and they thought it meant quick, ready, and helpful. But actually, it's a bird, number one. And also, it means crazy. I have a lot of Kiwi friends, and they're like, it means crazy. And that's fitting. So we're rolling with that.
I love it.
Hey, that's great. That's whatever works, right?
Exactly.
And it's great that you have such a great story behind it, because usually drinking stories end up bad. Yours seem to
go horribly awry. Yeah.
It's not like Shane Mayfield's drinking stories. Anybody with him drinking ends up with a bad tattoo.
Yeah. Don't ever drink with Shane Mayfield.
No, that's scary. That's scary.
Make
right
sure
on.
you're turf, because you're in trouble if you're not. So.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you are in beautiful Hawaii. You're on the Big Island. Are you on the Hilo side or the Kona side?
We're on the opposite side, in Kona. So we're on the west side. And then actually Robin's up north from me at the Koala Coast.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. And we get the nice weather over here. We get the flat weather, so really good diving weather, snorkeling. Hilo side's a little more weathery, so it's great.
That's one of the things that I like about the Big Island. It actually has 11 of the 13 ecosystems in the world.
It does.
Just take a drive and you get something new. It's really cool. So
it is really cool, because as you drive, and it changes almost instantaneously as you're driving.
Yes.
You go from like deserty to full on lush, and then you go up to the mountain, and 8,000 feet, and 13,000 feet, and it's freezing up there. It's great.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're in Hawaii. So how did you get started in detailing?
Oh my gosh. So I started, actually, you're going to laugh, because I started detailing in Boise, where you guys are at.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember the New Look Car Wash.
Yes.
I do know.
I think it's something else now, but so I think I was 14, 15. It was one of my first jobs, and my friend worked there, and they did all the sales, and they're like, and I needed a part-time job, so I started. I did really well immediately. I was just like on vacuuming, and then they moved me up to quality control immediately, and then I started waxing cars like when I was really young. So, and then my father was kind of a car-loving guy, so I used to work on cars with him from my young life on, and we always had car and driver laying around the house. So I was always reading up on the latest cars. I always loved cars. So took a break for about 20 years, and I was in restaurants. And then I moved to Hawaii to work at the Kona Brewing Company. And I just started doing detailing on the side, and I worked for somebody else. And I've always done it intermittently, but I really just threw myself into it this time. And everybody just noticed my work. So I ended up, they're like, why don't you open your own detail shop? And hence the name came up. And then I started mobile, and then I got a tent on the side of the road, like right off the open air, right off the Elite Drive, which was amazing. I would take a break and walk across the street, and there'd be whales and dolphins right there. Yep. So it was soulful for me to just throw myself into that. And then I got sober, and so it kind of went hand in hand with my lifestyle change and wanting to work for myself. And so it just grew from there, and that was like 17 years ago.
So you literally started in a tent along the highway looking at whales.
Yeah, pretty much. That was my first fixed location. It was awesome.
On the highway, and I'm trying to picture in my mind where you were doing.
Well, it was off the highway on the main road, like through town. You like jaunt off the main highway through town. So I was right off. It's called ALOHA Drive, which means royalty. But yeah, I mean, I was living the dream. It was really amazing. You couldn't ask for better weather or better scenery, or as a matter of fact, there was a natural like rock formation. So I get off work and it was like my own little private hot tub. I'd walk over, get in the water, and that was my end of my day. Watch the sunset every day. It was amazing. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better. It was like very soul fulfilling. It was amazing.
Wow. Cars in paradise. I mean,
I know. You can't beat the combo.
That is awesome. That's super cool.
So then after that, I just started, I wanted to get better. So I just started, taking classes over the last 15 years. And then, you know how that ended up. Here I am.
Yeah, exactly. So how long ago did you go train with Renny then?
So it's been just about a year right now. I'm actually going to intern with him next year on my, 2 weeks. I'm going in 2 weeks this month. Yeah. So it's been a year. And it's been a crazy, amazing year too. I mean, once I did that training, everything just started really falling into place. Everything that I'd been wanting to do with my business really solidified. And I started dropping off things that I didn't want and started pursuing the things that I did want. And it's been an amazing ride this year. It's been really great.
So before we jump into some of the other stuff from this year, I want to go back to the Hawaii thing, because a lot of the people that'll watch this have either, like myself, never been there or only heard stories about it. But what is the difference in the way you have to do the process of detailing a car, being in that environment versus somebody else? And I love doing this because we talk to people from Maine and from Florida, Arizona. It's always a different climate. And so what are the things you guys have to do differently up there?
We actually, as Jody stated earlier, we have like all the climates in this small area. So and we have a giant volcano. So I know you guys heard about like last year, we had those really, really large eruptions. So the whole entire time I've lived here, up until last year when it quit after the big eruption, we've had what they call fog. So it's a very unique environment, and the fog is like fog in the city, but it's created with sulfides and a lot of really crummy stuff in the air. So when we get fallout, it creates a ring of a water spot that's in and of itself. I've never seen it anywhere else. And it etches almost immediately. Wow. So, and on top of that, we have really bad chlorinated our water is just loaded with stuff too. So when you spray a car, it turns white immediately if it dries, and it dries really quickly here. So we have to deal with salt water, heat, and humidity. Humidity is super high. And then you have the volcano and salt and sun. I mean, it's like a trifecta. It's a trifecta of badness. It's very unique and really hard to deal with. So I started in water spotting because it was a problem here, and I knew I would have business, year round. So I started specializing in that right away. And so I've come up with several different ways to deal with the water spotting. And so I even got into shower doors and ceiling glass, and people have bricks and glass partitions around their pools. So it's created a really unique work experience here that if you kind of have a niche. I have a niche because I kind of pursued it because I knew what the problems were here. So it's a lot of stuff we have to deal with. After the volcano eruption last year, people had ash all over the inside and outside of their cars if they left their windows open, and then it emitted a really sulfury smell. So we had to deodorize, and it's poisonous. So I mean, it was a lot of things that.
Again, your men in Hawaii sound great, man. Can't wait to go. Poison, sulfur, stink gas, and water spots.
You're not convincing him to travel.
Right. So, well, on the other end of that, it stopped erupting. So the last year has been like living on another island that I've never lived on before. The skies are blue. It's clear. You can see, like, we have Mauna Loa, we have Mauna Kea. You can see, you drive into town, you can see the whole entire ocean. You can see all of you can see Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa. You can see the different mountains layered behind each other. So I never saw that for years until this last year. So it's amazing, which is making it easier to detail cars.
Yeah, I have the Aloha spirit. I'm telling you, man. I am destined for Hawaii.
I'm seriously, we need a training out here. We got to get some people out here. It'd be great.
I'm with you. No, that's good. So
let's talk about this last crazy year. So we first met you, I think it was SEMA last year.
Yeah, I had just gone through my training, and that was my first event, and my first SEMA. I'd always wanted to go to SEMA, but I had never gone before, so it was pretty incredible. And so much. I mean, there was so much to cover. My mind was blown. Yeah. I have a better plan this year of like focusing in, because I think I did like 12,000 steps my first day. It was crazy.
Yep. I do that about every day. We do about 12,000.
Yeah.
You have to narrow it in and go, okay, sorry, this week I'm gonna avoid the tires and go to other stuff,
Right. So great, yeah.
So what other cool thing has happened to you this year? I mean, you've had an amazing year.
I really have had an amazing year. AFO was amazing. That was like the apex of the whole entire year. I had such a killer experience at AFO, and I learned so much. I really threw myself into the experience. I had really great mentorship. So Diana Balboni is my mentor. She really told me how to do it. I talked to Shane Mayfield and the Parkers. I really had a good sense of what to expect. Therefore, I really focused in again on what I wanted to take out of it. And and I got huge media coverage. It was amazing. We got all of us from Hawaii got on the news a couple times, and then I was on the front page. I was on the front page of the paper the day after the women won the U.S. world title. So I beat the women out for the front page, and I couldn't even believe it, which was an honor. But yeah, I mean, it was great. It was you guys were there. We had such a gel team, and I had such a great experience my first time out, and for Renny and Doug and those guys to say we had such a great team this year. It was just, it was an incredible experience, because we had a lot of support, and it was a really uplifting event for me. And everybody's like, oh, you're going to be dead afterwards. I was dead, but I was a dead, happy, my muscles were killing me, but I was a happy person. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of something you can't describe to people that have never done
right.
Like that. People are like, oh, what's that like? And you're like, you'd have to experience getting up at 5 and working your ass off until 6:30 every single day, and then going home and doing the same thing the next day. So
right.
It is a great team. I think it's kind of one of those experiences that, like you said, you could go into it. We went into it blind our first year and had no idea what to expect.
Oh.
I mean, literally, we didn't know if we were going to be in a parking lot with one plane. We showed up and we're like, holy crap.
There's like a hangar full of planes.
Yeah. So to get the kind of the mentorship you mentioned, with Diana and the Parkers and Shane Mayfield, unless you're drinking.
Right.
So
a bad tattoo.
Guys are great, and even Doug and Justin Lobato and Renny, those guys are awesome to walk you through that process. I think Diana is kind of a mentor to everybody. She's awesome. I love Diana. She's just a great gal in general. And then with Deep, got so much patience and just the ability to show like me, a complete idiot, how to do something. So that's
she's so smart. She's so patient, so smart, and she explains things really well. She just has a really great head on her shoulder, and she has a huge heart. She's an amazing woman.
Yeah.
Now there's something kind of indirect that I think we almost missed, and you hinted at it by saying that you have a mentor. And I think that is something that is overlooked when you become part of the Detail Mafia team. We have a brand new customer that is just coming on. He's from Sacramento. And the very first thing he told me, he said, he goes, I was recommended that you guys are the guys that can help me on the business end of our business.
Right.
But I also have to get with my mentor, because my mentor is going to help me with some key things to help me grow, because he's actually changing businesses. I mean, he's going into a completely different industry. And I didn't even know that until my discussion with him, that when you become part of the Detail Mafia, that you actually get a mentor to help you with your business. And I think that's a really, really cool thing.
Actually, bringing that up, I think it's one of the most important things, really, because and I encourage everybody to utilize their mentors to the capacity. They take their time. They take time away from their family. They answer phone calls. I mean, I can't shout enough praise to what the mentors do. And it's not just the mentors, it's people in the group that help mentor as well. So if you're not using that to your advantage and to help yourself grow, you're missing out on a really, really large part of being a part of the group, because it just, once I jumped in and I started really reaching out to people, again, I learned something. You mentioned Justin, like I hadn't sat down and had a talk with him while I was at AFO, and everybody has different ideas about everything, and just letting all that information in and then sifting through it and taking what you need, it's invaluable.
Yeah. Yeah. And Justin he's got this kind of a calm about him. It's funny. Jody and I were in Florida and drive.
He's very driven.
We sat down with him to have like a recorded session like we're doing right now. And 2 hours later, Justin and I got finished talking. It was hours and hours, and it was fabulous. I mean, the information that we gained from it, we actually broke it up into 2 separate sessions. But I think that's something that people don't realize about the group in general is you can call people up and they answer their phone. And that's what I think people are so amazed by, that someone will take time out of their day to answer the phone, and it might be a process, or, you could call somebody and say, hey, I'm having a really hard time working through this, or I've got this type of car and it's got really, really brittle paint and I'm dealing with this, and they'll say, try this combination. I've watched, Mark Elliott answer somebody's question about a certain type of paint and a certain combination. He's like, this is what you use for this pad, this compound, this speed. Yeah. And I think you see a lot of that in the group.
Well, yeah, and you take it and you learn. It's so amazing that you can take all that stuff in, and when you start applying it, how quickly your learning curve, how it shortens, because once you start getting all those tools in your belt, it just, like, after AFO and polishing metal for 6 days, 5 days, applying just the amount of time you have a polisher in your hand and applying that, I mean, amazing. And then you talk about pad and product combo and doing like applying it and actually taking what they tell you and applying it yourself and doing it yourself. This year has been jam-packed with learning and expansion.
So what are your plans for the coming year? I mean, now you're looking ahead. You got all this foundational stuff and what's interesting is you had years leading up to it. And I think that's an important thing, because a lot of people are in business and they're growing, they're progressing, and they kind of reach a point where they plateau. They're growing, but they're not really growing both on a personal and a business level like they were initially. And so taking that time to invest in yourself, both in ongoing training, but also surrounding yourself with amazing professionals in the industry and amazing experiences. What are you going to do with this kind of new foundation that you have for the coming year?
I actually I've already thought about this. I really want to focus in on being unique in my market, and really showing my clients and make them have an experience when they come to me, instead of just having instead of just being another detailer, I want them to come in and really have an experience and have a connection and form relationships. And I want to really tap into the community. And I mean, that's where I'm focusing. That's where I'm starting. And I think if I tend to like get, of course, because we're multitaskers, I put too much on my plate, but that I'm starting there, and then I'm going to expand out. I'm changing the face of my business. I've gone for so long, and I was up to 12 employees a year and a half ago, and now I've tightened it up and I'm down to 5, and I'm super happy where I'm at. And I just want to really dial in my menu, dial in my services, really connect with what people aren't doing here and offer that. That's kind of where I'm starting.
Okay. Awesome.
I love that.
Awesome.
I love that you are strategically contracting and then honing in on a solid niche, right? And more importantly, I love that you used the word customer experience, because I think a lot of times what really wins over loyalty is that customer experience, not just the craft that you offer and the professionalism, but that experience of when they walk into the door, how do they feel?
Right.
So let's talk about that. What are you doing to create kind of a unique experience?
I think this is what I've learned in my particular market, especially with ceramic coatings, and I love doing ceramic coatings. There's a lot of common misnomers about, and I think what I was thinking about the other day to sum it up was I want people to know that I'm maybe a little bit more expensive, but it's because I'm experienced, not because they don't know any better, not because they're getting a buzzword thrown at them and then that means automatically more money. So when they come in, I really want to explain exactly what they're getting and really connecting with what type of driver they are, so they can have that personal experience with me and creating what's right for your pocketbook, what's right for your what kind of driver you are. I'm not going to sell you a platinum packaged ceramic pro when you're a beach person, So I think that's when they come in, just really connecting with them and talking to them about what kind of driver, what are their needs, like let's really listen to them and not try and just bombard them with buzzwords and sales pitch and blah blah blah, because I think making that initial connection and initial impact with them, and trust is about trust, connecting with the client and having them trust you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So by the way, just as a side, what ceramic coating do they have for the toxic volcano environment up there, with the flowing lava and
So I use P&S Inspiration, of course, and Ceramic Pro.
There you go.
No, you're not going to announce a new P&S version. It's the Inspiration
Volcano.
I'm sure.
It'll protect your car from molten hot lava.
That's right. We'll pour a little lava over the top of it. Dave Phillips will be out there going.
I was going to say, I got to call Bob and Dave on that one.
I bet you Dave can figure it out.
He probably could.
He put his little genius hat on.
That's right. The molecules put a layer between the surface of the paint and the stuff, and therefore the lava beads up. And the new bead maker, it's already lava colored. That would be it. It just flows off.
It's basically a heat shield for your car.
Exactly. I'm going to put it on my head, and it'll protect it from sunburn.
And then we're going to sell it to NASA. It'll be great.
We got them in one day.
Suntan lotion and lava flow.
Just spray that on before re-entry. You guys will be fine.
We don't even need drinking to come up with crap.
No, we don't need Shane.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, this has been super, super fun. So how do people find you in your neck of the woods or your island in the ocean?
So I'm right in the middle of Old Industrial, right next to Island Naturals, which is the natural food store. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Yelp, and then I have my own website, akeakeprodetail.com. That's where you can find me.
Well, we sure appreciate you joining us, and everybody else that's tuning in to this episode of Mafia Memoirs. Thank you for joining us every week. And I guess really the proper word is mahalo.
And aloha.
Aloha. Thank you so much.
Thanks, you guys. I really appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Yeah, you have a fantastic day.